I'm back. I hope you're ready, guys. This is a paper figure of the nuclear monster, destroyer of cities, misunderstood being, Shin Godzilla. I dare to assume that whoever is watching this video knows about this monster and its history and abilities. So without further ado, let me give some background information about the figure. It took me a span of a month to finish this figure. Toy companies attempted to make figures of this character, but, honestly I dare say, none have actually been able to capture the look Shin Godzilla had in the movie based on its CGI model. Now, I'm not saying that I am any different, but it has been a long dream of mine to get a 100% accurate figure of Shin Godzilla. I think many relate to this. However, I am still happy with how this figure I made turned out. If you like this figure, and this video, I would appreciate it if you clicked the thumbs up icon, as well as give a comment to tell me what you think. Let's begin by demonstrating the articulation on this model. The head has the most complex system to make it move. There is a joint that makes Godzilla look up nicely, as well as look down. Then, there's a separate joint for the upper jaw which is removable, as well as the lower jaw which is also removable. I made both parts easy to detach so that it is easy to fix the joints in case they fail. As you can see, you can open Godzilla's mouth wide, while it doesn't look weird at all. When moving the head up, the section that houses the first set of dorsal spines can move with or beyond Godzilla's head. This way, I can get more range of motion for the head. The whole head can turn side to side very faintly. The motion range is limited because of the solid neck. You will see why the neck is solid later. The neck section can anchor back to front nicely, but still, there isn't a lot of room for it to move. The arms, on the other hand, are nice and easy to move. The shoulder joint works mainly to raise the arm, while the turning radius is limited. The elbow joint is tight but still moves okay. It can rotate as well. These joints are incredibly small, so I am being delicate. The hands, I've made it so they turn around and move back and forth a bit. Next, the main body. It can go back and forth, side to side, and turn around slightly. The spines bump into each other a bit while doing this. Speaking of the spines, they are not actually fixed in one place all the time. They can be squished and can wobble along with Godzilla's body movements, which happens in the movie. Next come the legs. Main joint can make them spread apart nicely, and the turning radius is alright. The knees work as you expect, however the knee pieces in front of them completely hides the inner workings. The knee coverings are actually on separate joints of their own. They can move along with the lower leg when kicking forwards, and can retract, to cover the space in between here. The lower leg joint rotates in theory but it's best not to. The feet of Godzilla have the best joints. They practically are ball joints of paper. If you consider the whole range of movement, these joints are nice and strong and hold Godzilla in place well. Finally, the most problematic part of the figure, the tail. It is frustrating to say that the joints are too weak to hold the tail up on its own, despite the good range it has. As you can see, each segment here has a joint that allows vertical, horizontal and rotative motion. This is actually not even the first tail I made for the figure. The first tail was the really faulty one. This new tail is better, but still not good. Overall, the articulation isn't perfect at all. The range of each joint leaves a bit to be desired, especially the neck. The biggest thing to improve on is the tail. Definitely. Let's now move on to the details in the design. The figure is of a black color with reflecting light that highlights detail. One thing that some toy companies fail to do is to give red detail on Shin Godzilla. I can confirm that there is plenty of red wear necessary on my figure, but you be the judge, I suppose. There is a vast amount of detail added with ultra-fine pens all around. It would take me hours to point it all out, so I hope you can see it. To begin with the head, I feel like I was able to capture Shin Godzilla's main expression, size and proportions of everything. The eyes look good. The shading/reflection on the head also looks really nice. The shape of the head is really good too. Apart from the front of the mouth, where it might be ever so slightly thinner than what it was supposed to be, in my opinion the teeth look incredible. I actually went in and analyzed their size and arrangement, making sure I was being as accurate as possible. Both the upper jaw and lower jaw have these side exposed muscles that have some detail on them too. The inside of the mouth also been colored accordingly. Some of the fleshy sections have been made with glue instead of real paper. I think it creates a nice effect. The form and colors of the head are overall excellent. I made sure that at least around the head I should focus on its shape and design very well, which made it turn out like it did. Looking around you can see plenty of detail around the neck and the dorsal plates. There is a section that resembles gills which is filled with detail in red and black. Meanwhile the dorsal fins are shaped accordingly and are all given their fair share of detail. The red section itself has some darker sections to make it feel as if it is glowing. Coming down the chest region and the arms, you can see there is loads of detail on here. It is full of red cuts and added paper to add some three-dimensional detail. Meanwhile around the arms there is a complex system of muscles that make up the shoulder and the section near the back, where there is a wall-like row of spikes that protects the inner dorsal plates. The arms themselves are nice too. They have detail all around them and they are appropriately sized. All across the body there is reflected light and red wounds. A view from the back reveals more detail found near the dorsal plates, and on the plates themselves. There is mainly 5 rows of them. Here you can see the lower body of Godzilla. Before reaching his stomach or crotch region there is plenty of cut bits of paper that help to make up the texture of the skin on this particular region, which is full of folds. The legs themselves are great. There is plenty of folds and coloration variants to enhance the detail on the thighs, and the cut paper helps to create the particular shape of the, almost piled on, skin. The knees themselves are filled with these round bits and red in between the deeper regions. I love how they turned out. Lower legs too have been sculpted to match what you would see in the film. Pieces of card have been stacked all around and create a nice shape for the lower legs I think. Finally the feet. I think I knocked it out of the park here. Everything about them is good. The color, the shape, the proportions. Even the sharp nails have detail on them, and they are colored with a light brown and golden color. The beginning of the tail region is sort of where quality drops a tad bit. The shaping is certainly good, and the colors are too, but I feel like after seeing beautiful detailed areas like the feet and chest, this section is a bit boring looking. The tail itself is mainly a tube-like structure that is still shaped accordingly. The spines on the back of the tail and near it are smaller, according to the design, and they reveal more of that red exposed glowing flesh. The tail itself is very long, and all across it is the same type of texture and coloring. On the top of it though there is a variance of spine shapes, such as here, where they are the biggest. The last thing you should see is the very tip of the tail, a big solid piece of exposed flesh and bone. I detailed it as much as possible, and I am happy with the result. There is plenty of coloring used here, such as red, dark red, bone white and black, to all create the look and feel of this creepy area. At the very tip, you should see a skeletal face, from one side. On the other side, should be only a bare resemblance to a face. I even added some hot glue right in the open, to create more three-dimensional shaping of the tail. Overall, in my opinion, the best part about the figure is the way it looks. I cannot believe I achieved this result. All the proportions of it are just so good and I cannot stress how important this is for an action figure. The coloring too is excellent. It looks like what I would expect SH Monster Arts to do, but that is another story. My favorite part is certainly the head, neck and chest region. I will let the footage speak for itself because I am all out of words for this much goodness. Anyway, thank you for watching guys. See you. Wait a second there buddy, I am not done yet. I could not leave this figure as is. Despite all of that I already achieved, I had to do more. Time to take a look at the vast array of accessories that were made for my model. When Shin Godzilla fires his atomic beam and fire, he turns white and purple. The rest will be shown to you soon. To begin with, here are the accessories. Alternate dorsal plate replicas, alternate neck gills pieces, alternate chest insides piece, and more is to come soon. Let's start by replacing the parts that warrant it. The neck region. First I'll remove the head, like so, and, as you can see the dorsal plate section of the neck is actually attached to the head. Still though, it is detachable. Then I'll replace the previous bit with this replica of the spines area, but inserting it into the slot. Now, the neck. As you can see, if you have some nails, you can easily remove the gill section from this purposefully made region of the neck, and put in the purple alternative. I used a sharp tool to help me put it in all the way. Once I replaced the gills, I will now remove this specific area of the chest, with a tool. As you can see, there is a peg and a tube where to insert it, and I'll do just that. Then I will take these beautiful alternate dorsal plate sections and attach them where they belong on Godzilla's back. Initially I planned to have the rest and whole of the tail to have these purple regions, but after a month of work I got really tired, so I didn't make them. The tip of the tail could have had an alternative accessory too. As of now, this is the result. Godzilla is one step away from firing his atomic beam. For the fans, I made an alternate lower jaw piece to insert on Godzilla's mouth region. As you can see, it is rather grotesque and detailed, and it can be inserted like so. Before I go any further, Godzilla looks even cooler now. Now it is time to show the power of atomic energy through fire and laser. The fire beam for Godzilla is yet another accessory. It is a bit flat, but it does the job. You can simply lay it in Godzilla's wide open mouth and recreate the famous atomic fire scene. But that's not all. The final accessory for Godzilla is his atomic laser beam. It is very long and thin, though a bit plain looking. I couldn't think of anything else that could improve the look of the beam, though it still looks nice. One can now have fun with destroying cities by placing the beam into the mouth, and recreate the scenes from the film. I took some nice pictures while posing the figure that will show you what I mean. I quite like the look the accessories give Godzilla. The white and purple on him is beautiful, I think. It is kind of amazing that I didn't have to make two different figures to make Godzilla in this form and the main red one. In my opinion, this whole figure is simply fantastic. The thing that made me really work hard on it was my pure adoration for the movie and the character. If I ever make more figures of monsters in the Godzilla universe, they will hopefully look as good as this one. Certainly the figure isn't perfect, the articulation is a bit limited, and some proportions may be off. Despite that, I am proud of what I made. I really hope you enjoy this figure and video. I hadn't uploaded in 3 months. I just have an inconsistent upload schedule, unfortunately. Other than that, thank you viewers for watching. See you again next time.